Start the surgery now. Daniel's voice echoed across the emergency room as he pushed the stretcher forward himself. Sir, we need the deposit first, the receptionist insisted. The little girl's head rolled to the side. Her breathing was shallow. Her mother, Maria, clutched Daniel's arm so tightly her nails dug into his skin. Please, please don't let her die, she cried. I'll work for free. I'll clean this hospital for the rest of my life. Daniel's heart pounded. The doctor's voice cut through the chaos. She has internal bleeding. If we don't operate within minutes, we'll lose her. How much? Daniel demanded. The number felt like a gunshot to his chest. It was more than he had saved in years. He stared at his phone. The company's emergency executive account glowed on the screen. Access restricted. Authorization required. If he pressed confirm, there was no going back. Sir, we're running out of time, the doctor warned. Maria dropped to her knees. God will bless you if you help us. Daniel swallowed hard. I'm not doing this for blessings. His thumb pressed confirm. Charge it to that account. Start the surgery. The doors swung shut behind the stretcher, and Daniel's career ended in that moment, even if he didn't know it yet. The next morning, he stood alone in the boardroom of Harrison and Cole Financial Group. 5 partners sat across from him, faces cold. You authorized a 6-figure transfer without approval, Mr. Collins said flatly. She would have died, Daniel replied. That's irrelevant. I don't think a child's life is irrelevant. You violated policy. I saved a life. Another partner leaned forward. You risked our firm's reputation for a cleaner's daughter. Daniel's jaw tightened. She's not a cleaner's daughter. She's a human being. Silence. Then the verdict. You're terminated. Effective immediately, just like that. 7 years of loyalty dissolved in seconds. Security escorted him out. Coworkers avoided eye contact. The elevator doors closed, and Daniel stared at his reflection. He whispered to himself, You did the right thing. But doubt had already started whispering back. That night, Maria knocked on his small apartment door. She's stable, she said through tears. The doctors say she'll recover. Daniel let out a slow breath. That's all that matters. She grabbed his hands. You saved my baby. I can never repay you. You don't owe me anything, he said softly. But when she left, the silence in his apartment was loud. His phone buzzed. Bank notification. Balance, dangerously low. Weeks turned into months. Interview after interview ended the same way. You acted emotionally. We need disciplined decision makers. You're a liability. Liability. That word echoed in his mind. One evening, he stared at the final notice from his landlord. You have 5 days. He laughed bitterly. So this is what integrity costs. He paced the room. Maybe I was stupid, he muttered. Maybe power belongs to those who protect it. His phone rang. Unknown number. He almost ignored it. Daniel Wright speaking. A calm, steady voice responded. My name is Victor Hale. I'd like to meet you. Daniel froze. Victor Hale, billionaire investor. Founder of Hale Global Investments. The kind of man whose decisions moved markets. I think you have the wrong person, Daniel said carefully. No, the voice replied. I have exactly the right one. They met in a private dining room the next evening. Victor Hale studied him quietly. You don't look like a reckless man, Victor said. I'm not. Yet you risked everything. Daniel leaned back. A child was dying. What would you have done? Victor didn't answer immediately. Instead, he asked, Did you know who she was? No. Did you expect a reward? No. Silence stretched across the table. Victor finally spoke. The little girl you saved is my granddaughter. Daniel felt the room spin. What? My son married Maria years ago. After he died, she cut ties with this family. She wanted to survive without my money. Daniel stared at him. She never told me. I know. Victor's eyes were sharp but thoughtful. I've built an empire, he continued. But I've learned something the hard way. Money reveals character. Power tests it. Daniel's voice hardened slightly. So why am I here? Victor leaned forward. Because I've been watching you. Daniel's heartbeat quickened. You lost your job. You never complained publicly. You never tried to expose Maria's connection to me. You never asked for anything. Daniel swallowed. What are you saying? Victor paused. Do you know who suggested to your former company that you should be fired immediately? Daniel's stomach dropped. Victor held his gaze. I did. Silence crashed between them. You what? Daniel's voice was low and controlled. I wanted to see if your integrity was situational, Victor said calmly. If you would regret helping her once it cost you something. Daniel stood abruptly. You destroyed my career to test me? Victor didn't flinch. And yet, you're still standing. Daniel's fists clenched. Was that supposed to impress me? Victor's voice softened. No, it was supposed to reveal you. Daniel's anger battled with confusion. Victor slid a folder across the table. Inside was a contract. Managing Director. Equity stake. Authority. I'm stepping back from daily operations at Hale Global, Victor said. I need someone who understands that money is a tool, not a master. Daniel stared at the contract. Why me? Victor answered without hesitation. Because when you had no power, you chose humanity. And that was only the beginning. If you're still watching, it means you believe kindness matters. Stay till the end, because what happens next changes everything. Daniel didn't touch the contract. You tested me, he said quietly. You let me struggle. Victor nodded. Yes. I almost lost my apartment. I know. I sold my car. I know. Daniel's voice trembled with restrained emotion. You watched me drown. Victor leaned forward. No. I watched you refuse to become bitter. Silence. Victor continued. Most men would have blamed Maria, sued the firm, exposed the connection to leverage sympathy. You did none of that. I helped because it was right, Daniel said firmly. Not because of who she was. Victor's eyes softened slightly. Exactly. Daniel sat back down slowly. You really believe I can lead your company? I don't believe, Victor replied. I know. Daniel looked at the contract again. This is more money than I've ever imagined. Victor smiled faintly. And that is why you deserve it. Months later, headlines exploded. Former analyst appointed managing director at Hale Global. And then came the bigger shock. Hale Global announced acquisition of Harrison and Cole Financial Group. The same firm that fired him. The same boardroom. The same long glass table. But this time, Daniel sat at the head. The former partners shifted uncomfortably. Mr. Collins cleared his throat. Daniel, we didn't know about the family connection. Daniel looked at him calmly. It wouldn't have mattered. Another partner spoke quickly. We were following protocol. You were protecting profit, Daniel corrected. There's a difference. Silence. They expected revenge. They expected termination. Are we being dismissed? One of them finally asked. Daniel paused. This was power. He could humiliate them, end their careers, make them feel the same helplessness he once felt. Instead, he said quietly, no. Shock spread across their faces. But things will change. He pressed a button. Effective immediately, Harrison and Cole will establish an emergency human impact fund. Any employee facing medical crisis can access support without fear of termination. The partners exchanged glances. Daniel continued. And no one will ever be punished for choosing life over paperwork again. Mr. Collins swallowed. You're serious? Daniel held his gaze. Very. The meeting ended. As they left, Mr. Collins lingered. I misjudged you, he admitted. Daniel responded calmly. No. You misjudged what power is. Power isn't the ability to fire someone. It's the ability to protect them. Later that evening, Maria visited his new office. Her daughter ran across the room, healthy and smiling. Uncle Daniel, she shouted. He lifted her up, emotion filling his chest. Maria's eyes were wet. We heard about the acquisition. Daniel smiled gently. No one should have to beg for their child's life. She shook her head in disbelief. You lost everything because of us. He looked at her firmly. No, I found everything. Years passed. The Human Impact Fund saved dozens of families. Employee loyalty soared. Hale Global expanded. Reporters often asked Daniel, what changed your life? He always answered the same way. The day I got fired. Because that was the day he learned something powerful. Money gives comfort. Power gives influence. But integrity gives legacy. When you protect your humanity, life has a way of protecting you back. He once thought losing his job was punishment. It was promotion. If this story moved you even a little, take 1 second right now. Like the video so more people can see it. And ask yourself in the comments. Would you risk your career to save a stranger? Subscribe if you believe character still matters in this world. Because the truth is simple. When money is your master, you'll always be afraid of losing it. But when integrity is your foundation, even losing everything becomes the beginning of something greater. Daniel lost his job for helping her. But life rewarded him in the most unexpected way. And sometimes, the door that slams shut is the one that pushes you toward your destiny.